Welcome to the another episode of the Indian Community Podcast. I'm your host Amit Gupta with my co-host Rahul Mehra. Today we're thrilled to have a very special guest with us, Mr. Basaiah Hiremath. I call him the Moringa Man of India. He has a remarkable career spanning over 25 years in information technology. Mr. Basaiah has been instrumental in setting up and managing IT operations for award-winning companies such as Saba and Metric Stream. Transitioning from his illustrious career in IT, Mr. Basaiah took a bold step into agriculture, founding the Nandi Organic Farmhouse. Under his visionary leadership, Nandi Organic has not only flourished but has also brought Mr. Basaiah numerous accolades, including the prestigious India's Best Startup of the Year 2022 and the IIB Pride of India Award, and many more. Today, he is celebrated for pioneering work in the cultivation of organic moringa and his innovative approach to developing health supplements from this miraculous tree. Join us as we dive into Mr. Basaiah's journey from the high-tech world of cloud computing to the green fields of organic farming, understanding how he earned his title as the Moringa Man of India and what inspires him to keep innovating. Mr. Basaiah, welcome to the Indian Community Podcast.
Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, Amit and Rahul. Thank you very much for the opportunity given to share my experience.
Definitely. Absolutely. Mr. Basaiah, my first question is that you have had a highly successful career in IT, managing complex cloud operations for major companies. What inspired you to make the significant shift from the world of IT to starting an organic farm focusing on moringa?
It's a very, significant question. It takes back into the 2000. So I was started career with Infosys and I placed in Seattle for system integration for the IT job. When I came first time to Seattle, and that was a Friday evening, as usual in US, Friday, when young IT guys comes to US, they start driving the car and going weekend to somewhere else. Unfortunately, that day, nobody was there in my apartment. I reached the apartment. And I thought that as a rural person coming to US, I thought, let me search my native in the US, as it is, the internet is very good in US in 2000 time. So when I start searching my native, I found that my native place in the UNICEF and WHO report, where it is famous for malnutrition and poverty. I felt so bad that, even though I'm from rural area, I'm the first few people from North Karnataka selected in Infosys. And I find that, man, I came to US, but what about my native? I left my native. And I looked at the report. It was malnutrition was too high in my district, which is the world toughest. Something was happened and I can't express, but I thought that I should do something back to my native. Maybe not now, maybe in the future, so that I can come up with a solution where I can serve my native. That's made me to thought through, how I can move from IT to agriculture, which is, solve my problems of my native. Always innovation, I believe that it comes from the necessity of the problems. So all the problems will drive the innovation. So then I started studying about backend, working with IT, like what I can solve the problem, how I can solve the problem, what I can do it from my native. What are my, focus areas should be next after 20, 25 years, so that I can give back to society. I give back to my people. Maybe I need to earn first money which can serve myself. And then I can make a sustainable kind of an environment create to give back to the society. This is what it made me that even though what introduction was given by Amit, that you worked on cloud and all those things, definitely IT is a ocean of innovations. If you apply those innovations, in 1997-98, Dr. Abdul Kalamji came to Infosys and he said one word: when the information technology holds the hands of agriculture, even the agriculture of India can also flourish like an IT. That was connecting with my 2000 event. That's a bridging gap, connectivity that which trigger me a lot to do a research on fixing the problem of malnutrition. I don't think so. India has a poverty. It is just a mindset. So I started working on malnutrition, researching on it, and then finding the solution around it. As you all know, IT people always find the solutions. Why can't we find the solutions to this problem? Apply a different methodology. I started searching about my native geographical conditions, crops which can grow, what superfoods can do, which is a superfood I can grow in my native. That's where it inspired me to, after 25 years of working with Cisco, Saba, Matrix team, Infosys, great companies in the US. Then this is a time after 45, 46, I thought that, okay, I have another 20, 25 years left for me to serve the society with my strengths. That's where I decided to move back. If I move after 60, may not be able to move so fast. I may not be able to help the farmers. I may not be able to create employment. This is what I thought that, that's the best way to move from IT to agriculture. But again, agriculture is messed up in India. Food security is a big problem. I need to come up with some solution. That's what organic farming, the poisonous free for human beings and animals. That's where I moved to, agriculture in 2016 time, started looking at the right way to do it.
Great, sir.
You came to India and set up the organic farming. Did you have any farming experience, or you had to build everything, all this knowledge from start?
Yeah, definitely I'm from rural area. So I had a little bit of glance of, agriculture. Doesn't mean that I know how I can grow the organic way, how I can do it in the, especially for Moringa is concerned, where I adopted in my organic farming. That's something I have to learn it. So probably around 16,000 research paper I might have studied, which is great scientists across the world. They published and I acquired the knowledge from it. And then I applied it in my farm, my practice.
That's great.
And was that something that? So how long have you been into farming now? So you came back in 2016.
Yeah. I started before that, searching for a land and finding out some information because I started from 2000 research on Moringa.
Okay.
Definitely, I started cultivation, purchase the land and started cultivation. I would thank my cousin who came with me for organic farming. He understood the value of the agriculture for good health. So he left his advocacy as a lawyer and he came with me for organic farming. And then he has a great experience of agriculture. I have a great exposure to the external world of science. So we blended together. So we worked even today together as a single entity in my farm. That was a plus point. But definitely nothing is impossible for IT people. They can do anything in this world. They can learn and they can quickly adapt. They can bring the solutions.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes the only things
Wow.
we don't learn is the things that we don't want to do.
I agree. So it's hard, Agriculture is very hard. What we look at outside from the world is different. What we see is the consumer product.
Correct.
But actually,
Right.
when let's say today example, it is 38 degree in my native. So it's very difficult. The people don't understand, consumers don't understand. The farmers are working at 38 degree and they are bringing the value added product and the good product to them on their desk. That's something that everybody has to understand. That's why I become a farmer, first to understand the pain point of the farmer. It is not that we just have a money, we have a knowledge, we can do it. Climate has to give as a companion, it has to support you. Crop has to support you. Nature has to support you. And the people has to support you. And then your profit also has to support you to sustainable farming for farmers. That's the thought process that I built. That if I don't make farmers profitable, then I will not sustain in this farming. And organic farming is such that entire globally, if you take it, most of the European countries, Americans, or anybody in that matter, they're looking for the good food. Because good food can create a good health. Good health can create a good work.
Absolutely. Sir, for our users, we would like to know, first of all, can you explain what is Moringa?
Oh. So for me, question is very funny, but I don't take it as serious. It is almost 4,000 to 5,000 years old plant in Indian history is concerned. So the Moringa is drought plant. It doesn't need more water or anything, very less water. And Moringa is something which can grow in any area. And you can even cut the plant, it still grows. The Moringa botanical name is Moringa oleifera. The word Moringa came from Tamilian word, and half of the word came from oleifera, Latin and American, a combination of oil and all those things. But in nutshell, Moringa is a nutritional dense superfood plant in my word. So Moringa is nothing but a drumstick tree. Moringa, in another language, harsh radish tree, they call it as. But countries like Europe and all, they have certain jargons for them to, to appreciate the Moringa benefits.
So for our listeners who are watching this show and who are not familiar with Moringa, as Mr. Basaiah mentioned, it is the drumstick that you would have typically seen in a sambar, right? Is that the same drumstick we are talking about here?
Absolutely. Drumstick is one outcome of the Moringa plant.
Yeah, it's the fruit of the plant.
It is of the plant. Correct. Not a chewable fruit, but it is definitely called as fruit.
Correct.
It is a horticulture crop. If you make it as, categorized with agriculture and horticulture, it is a horticulture crop. But drumstick is a fruit. But the entire plant, Moringa itself, is completely can be used. Moringa leaf, Moringa flower, Moringa drumsticks, Moringa seeds, Moringa oil. So the beauty of this tree is, it is not just today. I'm talking about 4,000 years back, where only kings are using for their warrior powers, their sharpness of shooting, their mental ability, stability. And the queens are using for beautician purpose, skin care. That's where it was there 4,000 years back. Downside of this today, 2000 onwards, it has become a superfood. And, I can probably explore more or tell about Moringa, but this plant is amazing. It is used in even the Vedas, it is written about this. Multiple Vedas, it is written about this plant. The why it is being used. This is called as Krimigna, or the Brahma Riksha, or Shobhanjana, somewhere else. It means it is a medicine for a lot of diseases which can bring the brightness in life. Shobhanjana. Crimigna is nothing but can kill the bacteria, bad bacteria. So Crimigna Karak. So that is, man, it can cure lot of bacteria which are not relevant to your life. If I can stay telling this, it may take days together about this tree, but it is really a amazing creature of God.
Absolutely. And is this tree native to a specific geography? Is it only found in specific parts of the country, or is this tree common across the world?
If you go to the history, it is started from Himalayas, the people will tell, but it is more popular in South India.
Okay.
You can find more in Kerala, more in Tamil Nadu, more in Andhra, more in Karnataka as a regular food. But if you come to North, like Delhi or Calcutta and all, Calcutta people are also using very much. But I'm talking about Haryana and Punjab and all. They are still, unaware of it. Even though people tell about it is from Himalayas and Indian continent, Indian country, as Asian countries, it grows everywhere in the Asian countries.
And why is it considered as a miracle tree? What are the health benefits associated with it? Because, and I'm asking you as somebody who is really close to the subject, right? Because there are a lot of claims that people will make out there and say, this will do this or this will do that for you. But since you're so close to it, you've done so much of research. What do you think is Moringa most suitable for?
Absolutely. So the Western people, they become mad about it. And they thought that what we can give this plant, it can solve all the problems. Any problem you give, complex problem, it can solve it. Then definitely something is miraculous happening with the plant. That's why they called it as a miracle. The first of all, it is a very nutritionally dense plant. It is like you wanted to find any vitamins, it is there in this, which is there in the plant. You find any amino acids, 18 amino acids, you will find in this. You will find all the minerals, most of the minerals in this. So you find all the, antioxidant properties which you need for human being to survive available on this. 46. And anti-inflammatories. It is all, most of the important digestive disorders, asthma, arthritis, many more diseases. You can name it in general life. You have all the anti-inflammatory on this. It can do cholesterol management. It can do antimicrobial. It can be an antifungal. It can be antibacterial. If you start naming it, the whole problems of the world can be solved with Moringa. That's why Western people called miracle tree, life of tree, the another name. That life of tree also they call it as. So why they call it as life of tree? It can also feed the other trees to grow well. That's the beauty of this plant. If you plant this plant along with any other tree, that plant will grow better than this because it fixes the nitrogen. It provides the required nutrients to the plant also. It is not just for human beings or the plants. It is also for animals. It works for cows, it works for sheep, any plant, any animal which you give as a food supplement or protein supplement, it has a high protein in it. So that's why they started exploring, keep on exploring. They keep on, getting answers from Moringa. Anti-cancer, anti-tumor, it is anti-HIV, so many anti things are there, anti-diabetic. If you are a regular consumer of Moringa, I don't see anybody will be diabetic in this world. Today, India is becoming a diabetic epicenter. But because we are not using our own plant, we are all the 85% of the usage is done by the other countries. And we are not using at all. We are neglecting our backyard plant. That's why this plant can make any miracle for any diseases. As my experience goes, in my real life. If anybody comes to anybody with any problem, I'll tell them, please have this my powder free of cost. And just tell me after 2 months. 99.99% came back with saying that, sir, thank you very much. That's a miracle known at us.
Miracle. That's really a miracle, sir. Sir, can you let us know about some innovative products and supplements that you have developed from Moringa at Nandi Organic Farmhouse?
Yeah, absolutely. See, today's generation is very different. If you try to give directly moringa leaves or a moringa powder, they'll tell you, what is this plant? I don't like it. We have to go with the generation, go with the change, go in the trend. I've started thinking about it, but I first made moringa dry powder, which any athletic, any, fitness guy or anybody who's old age, they can use it. Moringa dry powder, part of the food, part of the soup, part of the smoothie, part of anything, they can use moringa powder. And second product which we have started doing, everybody does gelatin capsules. We thought differently. As we are making organic certified farming completely, we are organic certified with Europe, US, Japan, India. We thought, okay, let's give a different approach with veg capsules. We made moringa capsules with veg, empty capsules. So that's the second product which doesn't have any side effect to anyone. Third is the moringa tablets. It's generic in nature. We use organic gargam powder and then started moringa tablets. And we started, then the generation asked pasta, noodles, and all stuff like that. Then we made a moringa, let's make that, but let's introduce a moringa soup where people come back from office, they can have soup. That, maintain their guts and digestive system. That can also, control the diabetic. That can also manage their stress and BP. And then we came up with something, let me think about the kids, what they like. They like energy bar, protein bar. Then we started developing energy bar. Then we started thinking about the Indian market today, which is US market is very poised about beauty and the anti-aging and all that. Then we started, the moringa is one of the best solution for anti-aging. The US, we sell more oil to US, moringa oil, because you can look like an younger by using a moringa oil. So most of the beauticians or saloons or the regular life, we started developing moringa oil. That is a cold press, not this electrical extracted, cold press moringa oil. There are, right now we are around 78 products, but in future we are going to add another 78 products. But apart from that, we introduced recently, the best is assorted moringa green tea. So for different purposes, like example, if you are taking a morning, you can take a detox moringa tea. If you're finished your breakfast, you can take immunity tea. If you are in the office, 1 o'clock, you can take, relaxation tea. If you are coming back to home, you can take again sleeping moringa tea with a different combination of the herbs in India available organically. We made with moringa so that effect will be more.
In fact, Rahul, this is how I was introduced to Mr. Basaiah also, right? Through a common friend, Kiran Kadakappa. He was the one who introduced us, and I spoke with Mr. Basaiah. He was very gracious to send me some of his supplements. I'm very thankful because I've actually been taking them for the last 10 days, and I wanted to share my own personal experience. So I have a problem called trigger finger, right? So in the morning when I wake up, my fingers are like this, right? So I'm like in a Spider-Man zone. Okay. And for the last 10 days, I've been regularly taking the supplement, and I feel there's a positive difference. At least my fingers are not cramping in the morning. So I think there is some miracle also happening in my life, which I wanted to share with Mr. Basaiah, so that more people are also aware of it. We are not making a claim over here. There's no medical claim of, this is solving that kind of a problem. I don't intend to do it, but I'm just sharing my own personal experience of uh, taking that, because I think, and I read some of the ingredients, and not the ingredient, but the nutrition. And I noticed that there were really high levels of potassium and a lot of minerals which we typically don't get as part of our regular diet, right? So I think that was something which I really appreciated, and I'm thankful for you to send me those products.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the feedback. When we hear such feedbacks, no, we feel that we worth that what we are doing. This is the only satisfaction that we get when the customer, the you know, when we are doing example, I'll tell you, Amitji, when I started this malnutrition eradication program with my district commissioners in my native district, the results were astonishing. Then every commissioner started calling me, and we are expanded to around 7.5 lakh children's with 5% cost of the commercial, and then around 2.5 lakhs of pregnant women. We started distributing it. That's the most satisfaction which I have in my life.
That's amazing.
That's now, people are starting from different countries, different states. As Amitji told rightly, that it can do anybody miracle with anybody who was normal also, they can get the miracles. If we say anybody is perfect, if they take Moringa, I'll tell you, they will tell you the changes in them. That's why it is called as miracle. And I'm surprised that how many secrets it has. I mean, last 10 years, I've been studying only the Moringa leaves and benefits and oil and benefits. It never ends. It never ends. And I'm very thrilled with this. And I started, ignoring all other plants, because one plant can solve all the problems. Then why I have to look at the other plants?
He is biased to Moringa. That
Yeah, probably I would say agree with that. But, the facts are facts, right? Scientific facts are facts. And I thank to the scientist for his work on it and given this kind of an information that I can prove it scientifically. If somebody says, I have psoriasis, I have Alzheimer's, I have asthma, I have arthritis, and then I can tell you this is a content which will fix that issue. And it has been proven in scientifically. But as you rightly said, I won't tell as medicine. Food as a medicine, rather medicine as a food. This is my slogan. And if you wanted to have a healthy life, you should have Moringa.
absolutely. So, and in terms of certifications and the quality compliance and all of those standards, have you gone through those processes? Are your products certified? Because nowadays there's also a lot of about what is in these products. Are they certified? Are they recognized by the right authorities? Especially if Moringa supplements have to be sold in the United States. Do you have the requisite permissions to be selling in the US and Canada or across the world?
I agree. That's the advantage we come from IT, right? We come with, that's what I learned from Infosys. The quality is first, and innovation is second, and service is third. So that's what it taught me in my initial journey of 13 years with Infosys. We started with certification only, organic certification of India, which takes 3 years. Then you can go for a US certification. We went with US certification. Then we went with Europe certification. Then we went with Japan certification. This is the toppest critical certification I can say is Japan. They trace from the soil to the end product. The most of these European and Americans, they only worried about the product compliance. The Japanese, they start from your soil and water. That's where the IT brought the value to the process, compliance, tests that we have done. I would proud to say that in India today only doing Moringa, certified with Europe, US, Japan, and India. We are the only one, as per recent sir. That's only for the compliance sake. But end of the day, our quality, it comes from North Karnataka, where the sun is abundant and stress to the plant to extract the minerals and medicinal values, create the medicinal values. Too good from my land or my area, geographical location. That I took advantage out of this. And certification definitely is very essential to meet the country food security. And that I completely agree with US and Europe and Japan standards. And we are compliant with those product standards.
Can you name a few, certifications that you already have?
As it comes for the organic certification, Organic India, USDA, Organic US, and EU for the Organic US, Europe, and the JAS for the Organic Japan certification. And these are the certification which is concerned to the organic. But apart from that, as a FSSA standard for India, ISO standard for processing, and many more compliance which is required for India food security is concerned, we have done with that.
And does FDA certification also come into play over here?
Yeah, when it comes to FDA, US FDA, USDA is part of the FDA.
Okay.
And especially for food supplement, it doesn't come under the drug, it comes under the food. But still, US FDA, what we have, USDA, we call it as,
Okay.
it is part of the FDA. And then still, if you wanted to take, you can take a FDA approval, but USDA, which is US Organic, which is more prominent, which is acceptable in the US already.
So the USDA certifies that the organic farm
Meets the FDA.
is organic.
Yes.
That is excellent.
It is not about just certification, Amitji.
Mhm.
Nowadays, as you said, everybody is organic and all that
Mhm.
stuff. End of our laboratory test, which is in compliance with the country, has to meet if you wanted to export. That from the day one we are started doing organic, the first crop which came out of our farm, which is exported to US and Europe, especially France and Germany. That's where we got more confidence. Yeah, what we are doing is in a right manner. That's where it built me a more confidence to explore the world with Moringa products. So today, if you ask me the question, which are all the countries you are willing to or you are already doing export, we are recently done with Dubai. Already we are done with Europe and Asian countries. And US also we are doing partially, small amount. But definitely US is the biggest market in the world.
Correct.
People worried about health and care about health there. That's where I think India is also a very big market, but still people like to, understand the organic, they are only worried about natural or inorganic. It is getting matured and it is a huge market in India also, but definitely world is looking for organic moringa.
And what are the common misconceptions that people have about moringa that you would have heard, especially for the first timers who are hearing about moringa? What is, because a lot of people, especially in the north, who are only exposed to the plant as part of sambar, right? As a stick which is inside sambar. So you would have heard a lot of people ask you very questions that tell you that these are all the different misconceptions about the plant. What are the typical ones that you see?
See, I'll categorize into two things. Okay. One is India is concerned. Okay. India built with lot of unnecessary misconception that, yeah, moringa is very heat. Right? It is heat oriented. Because people doesn't understand the science. If you take more peanuts, you will have loose motion because it has high protein content. Body will not absorb it, try to detoxify it as much as possible. That motion happens. Same thing with Moringa. Moringa also has a lot of protein. When you take more than what body is average required, then it will also try to detoxify it. One is major thing is they will tell it is more heat, but it is not a heat. You have to take the right dosage. And then second, they say is unsafe to the pregnant and breastfeeding moms. If you go back to my village, my mom worked all the time in the land. She delivered my brother after coming from the land, doing the agriculture activities. And they were eating everything. The immunity of the city people has reduced. The resistance power or the strength has reduced. Because of that, they think. But actually, doctors suggest after 1.5 months, you start using Moringa, then your lactation issue will get resolved. More milk production. Highly nutritional dense milk production happen. Breastfeeding will be good. This is a misconception they have. But I would agree with some scientific evidence for the city people or the Western people, so-called urban people, that when you wanted to conceive any pregnant woman, I would suggest, because of their immunity power is less, strength is less, who are staying in urban, not in, they should stop consuming before the 10 days. Because it has a lot of protein, you may have a detoxification like loose motion, you may lose your energy, you think, but actually Moringa will not lose your energy. It gives more energy, it converts your food. But this is a misconception there. After conceiving, I would start again to take it. I've experimented with US, and even US people are taking from me Moringa powder. Believe it or not, ex-vice chancellor, daughter in US, she started taking from 1.5 months pregnancy till 9 months. I just fluke, I told them, your kid will be more than 3.5 kg. It is 4.2 kg. She was the first after delivery, she called me. She said, thank you, uncle. I'm telling you, the kind of a nutrition which provides to the baby which is there in the womb, that helps kids to grow all the angles, neurological cells, neuron cells, heart, blood, muscles, bone strength. I would say people after pregnancy, 1.5, 2 months, they start taking very little amount that will fit to your child. After delivery, after another month or so, you start taking it, it gives a very good breastfeeding. These are the two misconceptions I have seen in the heat and as well as unsafe to the pregnant. Yeah, there are some doctors who will prove it because every patient is different. But I would say wherever I would advise to take a doctor's suggestion based on their body condition, they will say. Another misconception in India, Amit, will be joke that if you put a tree in front of your house or backyard of your house, that you will vanish. Your life will vanish.
Yeah.
You know why? Because these drumstick plants branches are very weak. When kids are there in the house, they will try to climb on it and they will break and they will have some, kind of damage to their organs. That's why they told. But that becomes another way of telling now in India, they don't grow moringa. So I wanted to clear all of these things with this session. Thank you for that very question you asked. And I wanted to make sure that in US, everybody can have at least one plant in their house.
Okay. So can it?
To
So in
save
the US, we have different kinds of weather, right? So especially in the north, if you go, there's a lot of snow, and then in the southern southeast of US, that I think Florida, Georgia, those kind of states, a little bit of North and South Carolina, they have a relatively similar sort of
Yes.
climate to India. So I can understand moringa growing there, but can moringa also grow in a place like Seattle, where it's very cold
Heavy rain.
and rain?
Yeah. Yeah, that's my first experience in Seattle. When I came to Seattle, it was like a Bangalore. So you can grow. I'm telling you, this is a drought plant, but even though, as long as you are keeping in your balcony and there is no too much of water to it, it will grow. This is amazing plant. But I would suggest, as you said, North Carolina and all those areas, that exactly suits. Texas exactly suits. The drought, heavy temperature exactly suits. Probably I would say no to Boston because the ice fall is
Right.
there, snowfall is there. Yeah, too much this thing is there. But New Jersey, New York, yeah, okay. But in rainy season, probably you will lose the plant, but again you can grow it. As long as rain is not too much on this plant, it can survive. I heard that there are a lot of people in the US, they started cultivating nowadays.
Yeah, I think it's getting popular in Florida. There's a lot of Indian crop or Indian trees that are being raised by Indian origin farmers, if I may call them. But there's a lot of interest in Indian plants like the chiku or the sapota, the Indian mangoes. There's a lot of jamun and the other varieties are being grown over here. So they're trying that in states like Florida and Texas.
One thing I wanted to tell you, Amit, see, the nature is so diverse and vast it is. These plants are born the area where they're supposed to born. And if you see the aroma of every fruit or the flower and the smell, it comes from the native is much better than any place. If I try to grow, something strawberry in my native, I can't. Even though I grow it, I can't get that, the taste what I read. Like I've seen many people are giving feedback from US. Sir, as soon as you open your bottle, the aroma of your moringa, which is completely different than what we get in US. This is all bind to our soil, our nature, water, and the kind of thing, right? So you and me are both are Indians, right? So how the frequency matches is much faster than this thing. That's the way it is. You can grow. It is like now Africa is growing, Pakistan is growing, and Bangladesh very little. Sri Lanka is doing, Indonesia is doing, Asian countries are doing. And I heard recent videos I have seen in the US YouTube channel. They are also trying their best. But definitely I'll tell you, it is not just a biasing my moringa, but you will find the difference in Indian moringa versus any other.
Absolutely.
Mr. Basaiah, I have another question for you. You talked regarding Nandi Organic Farmhouse. So, what are your major goals for over the next few years?
It's a very interesting question, sir. So, we came, as a CSR activity to malnutrition. Now, with that, we are identifying a very good market. Keeping in market in mind, okay, our goals are to expand our agriculture land from 100 acres to 500 acres in next 1 to 2 years. Maybe in 5 years, it'll be around thousands of acres. There are 3 things in it. One is helping more farmers, more organic cultivation, creating more employment. Fourth is the more export to the countries where they need moringa. This is our plan. And more products with moringa into the market.
Right. So, you said 70 something more products you are going to come up with next year, right?
Yes, absolutely.
That's a lot of growth that in terms of your farmhouses, right? So, or the farms on which you're producing from 100 acres to 500 acres and then maybe a few thousand. So, in terms of your international presence of your brand, you mentioned that you're currently doing some export to Middle East and a little bit of United States. What would you need from these markets, or what are the kind of partnerships or collaborations that you're looking for, especially for people in the US and Canada who are listening to the show? If they have to reach out to you, we'll of course have links to your website, and to your LinkedIn profile or as, as part of our description of this video. But what would you be looking for in an ideal partner in these countries to help spread your mission and also make Moringa more accessible to the common people?
Yeah, all these numbers which I told sir is asked about the goals next. It's all market driven. Okay, it's not that the demand is so much I'm not able to meet today. The ask from the Western market is so high, and I'm not able to meet, and that they want quality also, right? That it as we are certified, we spent a lot of time on this certification and standards. We wanted to emphasize that the people in the other countries that we are on par with your standard. We are capable of, delivering it to you the quantity which you want in terms of the raw material, in terms of the products in our brand, as well as in terms of the white labeling or in terms of the package format in your brand. We are at the end of the day, as an individual, as an entrepreneur, I'm looking at health for the entire globe, entire world. So just consuming one teaspoon of the moringa powder, which can change the life. I wanted to emphasize everyone in the US or Canada or Europe. If you're really looking for the quality, if you're really looking for the, good products from India, we are there for you to help and serve you. That's what I wanted to say.
Absolutely. And this is where I think our podcast hopefully should connect the dots. People who are listening to this show and watching you, we definitely encourage you to reach out to Mr. Basaiah and understand more about the product and also understand about the business opportunity for you to introduce this product. And there are so many different variations of your product that is already available on your websites, right? So there are capsules, there's oil. You're also talking about producing moringa flour, right? So people can actually infuse it into their diet more often. And Rahul, there's also a great potential collaboration. I will say between Mr. Basaiah and Vinod that could hopefully bring. We were talking about this idea some time back about moringa infused noodles, which are also healthy and good for people, and also good to introduce or easier to introduce moringa to children who are slightly fussy about eating, and they will be
Right.
happy to eat it in the form of noodles and pasta. So hopefully those kind of collaborations also um, materialize and you are able to spread the message even further.
That will be amazing. That will be actually amazing.
Just to add on, Amit, so we, for a country specific is concerned for expansion to our business, we definitely look for the right partners, either in our brand or in their brand. We are ready to work strategically with countrywide. Okay. So that we focus on, they understand their country specific better. And we can also be ready for their kind of a products which they want. We can ready to develop. That's where, our value addition comes to the Moringa. So we wanted to look out the global market, definitely. And I would thanks both of you, bottom of my heart. It's an amazing discussion we had.
Absolutely, sir. One final question that I have for you this evening is, when you finally say that, okay, now I'm going to retire and not do this anymore, what would be that legacy that you want to be called out for, right? Because I call you as the Moringa Man of India since the day I met you. I'm calling you as the Moringa Man. But what is the effect that you want to leave behind as a legacy so that people remember you and your work? How would you want?
So I would rather say they don't have to remember me, but they should remember Moringa. That is my legacy. And they should carry this, I personally, I have my personal target that at least from my state, 100 people should be exporting Moringa to other countries. This is my personal target before retiring. I don't see I'll get retired because, as God gives me a strength, I'll be working on
Correct.
it. I've taken a mission that it will never end. But definitely, I want the Moringa to be the well-known food supplement or a food ingredient for the entire world. Until, whatever I can contribute to that level, that I wanted to contribute best of my efforts. This is my goal.
Absolutely. And we definitely support your mission, and we would encourage you to also share more new discoveries, new innovations about Moringa with us on a regular basis so that we can also help cascade that to our viewers and our listeners who can learn more about Moringa on a regular basis. And we want to keep track of all your achievements and stay in touch with you. And once again, I think on behalf of the Indian community, on the global Indian community, I want to thank you and congratulate you for all the hard work that you're doing, especially leaving the comforts of an air conditioned cubicle to being there in the farm, bearing all that heat and working on the ground with the farmers and bringing them technology, innovation, and the Moringa dream, right? So we all talk about the American dream. I think here we are sitting with a man with the Moringa dream, and we want to really thank you for everything that you're doing, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Amitji. And, for me, it is inspirational. So because you talk to the people, who connect to the people, who collaborate with people, that's an inspiration for me. So I think it is a different layer. You both of you are talking at connecting to our own Indian forum, and thankful to all the listeners who are going to listen to this podcast and love Moringa, live with Moringa, and have a healthy life with Moringa.
Thank you, sir. That's a great message.